mold search, mold hunt is really more a moisture hunt than anything else. Water and dampness. Since I know that molds are on every surface, they're on my shirt, they're on the wall, they're in the air, they're on the materials, they're throughout here. But for the most part, most of them are just sitting there waiting, dormant. What got wet? What got humid? That's where the molds will have kicked into activity, start a colony that's growing, make more mold spores, make so many more toxins and allergens to maybe the point where now people are seeing it on their stuff. This stuff is getting damaged and ruined. And their health is going down. They're having a negative reaction to molds in the house. So let's do that water and dampness hunt. Let's find where the molds are growing, and let's go after what might be wet or damp. So let's go into the kitchen. What about under the sink? How many sinks have had water leaks in years past? Certainly I see some stains down under here. So since I'm seeing the stains here, it may be worth further exploring underneath of this to see if there's mold growth under there. Has this leaked sometime in the past? Down on the floor, look for water stains or look for growth. Or look for growth or stains on wood pieces that are alongside the dishwasher. And there's often mold or mildew growth on the rubber gasket here. Or maybe the ice maker leaked and wetted the floor or wetted the wall. Look at the stove like that, you don't see much of anything. But I put the flashlight on it. Can you see the mold growths kind of jumping out at us visually just by putting a flashlight on it? Fuzzy mold growth down here and up up there. Take a look inside each cabinet. Look inside with a flashlight. Look underneath surfaces. Look underneath the shelving here. With the bottom side to the shelving. Especially, it's a shelf near to the floor where it's cooler, where the wood will have been damper. That's more likely to have mold growth on it versus the same surface and material that's higher up in the room where it's a little bit warmer. We looked at the kitchen for sure. Where else is there water in the house? In the bathroom. Certainly look throughout the bathroom for maybe water spilled out of bounds onto a floor, onto materials, and wetted materials and drove some mold growth. What about the bath exhaust fan helping to remove the most of the steam so this room doesn't get so damp in the first place? What about up above where the attic is above us? Is water dripping down onto the roof from the attic or from the roof to the attic to the ceiling here? Look for water stains. One last thing to look at is, have there been leaks in the past? I have an opportunity here to lift up the vinyl floor cover, and we'll look for water stains on the subfloor below it, on the floor decking below it. We'll look for stains on the back side of this vinyl flooring, and it's not clean white anymore. We see some discolorations, and we see little groupings of discolorations. That's likely some mold or bacterial activity. As these critters grow, where there's mold or bacteria, there'll be one little critter sitting there. And as he has his wetness and dampness, now that one will make a few more. And if it still stays damp, those few more will make a few more. And as it stays damp or wet, those few more will make even more. And there's enough of these that can grow together in a clump where, well, now there's so much of a clump close to each other, on top of each other. Now it's something we can see with the naked eye. So I'm looking for that excessive amount of activity. That's so much we can see with just a naked eye and a flashlight. After a while, you look at enough dust and you figure, oh, that's just fiber, that's mold, that's just paint splatter. You get a bit of a feel for what you're looking at. The ultimate answer is, well, we might take that send a swab sample and off to a lab to see if that was mold or not. It's just that we're not coming with so much mold here just yet. Something I really want to look at, though, is older furniture. I know heirloom furniture, like maybe a piano or a table or a chair or a cabinet that's been in the family for generations. Grandpa had it, he gave it to Uncle Bill gave it to me, Uncle Bill kept it in the garage, Grandpa had it out in the shed, but now it's back in my living room. Who knows where this piece of furniture has been over the decades or generations? What dusty, moldy situations it might have been in. So it's carrying its own pile of mold and dust on it with it from house to house to house. And it might, like I said, it might have sat in very damp environments over the years. So what another holder of dusts, of skin flakes, of dust mites, of mold spores, of pollen, of soil dust. It's down near that cooler part of the floor where it's more likely damper, certainly in the summer, or if it's damp from below, that'll be damping it, like a damp basement or damp crawl space will keep the carpet damp. Probably in this room that we're in right now, probably most of the mold material and mold activity, if it's in here at all, is going to be in this carpet. We'll look into another room with a flashlight up close on our hands and knees, at the ceiling, at the walls, at the floor, underneath carpets. Pull them back. We'll go to the return air grill. We'll look at the filter. And we want to get a feel for the how air moves into and out of this building. So you have to get a feel for the build of the house. And we'll do that together. This is obviously kind of a cobbled and drafty over here. So much open to outside that when you pull back this insulation, the wall cover here, this exterior wallboard, is wet on the back. And that's damp right now. Golly, I pulled back the insulation, and this is the only separating me from outside is this wallboard, and this is wet. You could see that it's wet. You could feel that it's wet. It feels awful damp. Now, of course, I could use my moisture meter on there to determine what's the actual moisture content of that material. But by golly, this is what we're looking for. You see these white growths right here? These white growths. There it is. This material has been damp enough and wet enough, long enough, for the mold spores that were here to kick into activity and begin to grow a colony, enough so that we could even see them with the naked eye. That's the stuff that we want to catch first. That's the stuff we will catch. This is some type of mold that is white in color. Doesn't really matter if it's black mold or white mold or green mold or yellow mold. If there's enough mold we can see it with the naked eye, that's too much mold, no matter what color it is, no matter what variety it is. Any mold that we can see with the naked eye ought to be controlled and removed. We're going through the house together. One thing that we'll be looking at together is we'll be looking for layering. Layering, like look at the floor right here, is the original subfloor with the original old floor that's on top of that, with some type of floor cover on top of that. There's like a pressed paper type of material, pressed cardboard type of material, with like a vinyl on top of that, and another layer on top of that, this gray tile, and another layer on top of that. That stuff worries me. Layering on the wall, the ceiling, the floor, layering is an issue. If you have some spills or get damp down in here, how is the dampness or moisture ever going to evaporate from between these two layers? So it keeps things too damp. So I'd like to explore between layers if we have an opportunity to. That might give us tell a tale of previous water flood events, if we can look between layers like this. So we'll be looking for things like that together.